So we're joined tonight by Gyles, one of our co-op wine buyers, and Roberto from Brolia, which is our Gavi producer, and Michele and Claudio from Argia, which is our Salice Salentino producer. We'll be handing over to you shortly to take you through these two delicious co-op irresistible wines. Also in the background and supporting in the chat, we've got Claire Cameron and Rebecca Blakesley from our community member participation team, who will be sharing some useful links and stuff in the chat as we go and can help you if you've got any issues with anything with using Teams. So the running order for tonight then, Gyles will do a quick introduction on wines at co-op, then it's over to Roberto to talk about our co-op irresistible Gavi, then it's on to Michele and Claudio for the Salice Salentino. We'll talk a bit more about where the wine comes from, how it's made, take through a tasting for each of them as well. So don't worry though if you've not got a bottle yourself, there'll be loads of interesting things that we'll be covering. Following this, we'll go into the Q&A, which I'll explain a bit more about later. It's your chance to ask these wine experts anything that you want, anything about what you hear tonight or anything wine related in general. As we go through the event, feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A section of the chat, and we'll be sure to pick them up and I'll ask them on your behalf later on in the Q&A. You'll also be able to come off mute as well and ask your question in person yourself if you prefer, and you can use the hands up function in Teams for that. Now, the hands up function in Teams is in a different place depending on what device you're using and what browser you're using, but it should be easy enough to spot. I'll give you a shout later on when we're ready to kind of do that bit, so we won't be doing hands up until the Q&A. We'll end the event with a quick prize draw for one of our lucky members on the call tonight to win a bottle of each of these wines featured, and also a lovely Italian feast, but we'll go into that a bit more later on. We are hoping to be done by 8 o'clock, but if we've still got some questions to get through and people are happy to hang around, we might stick around a bit longer. So for now, I'm going to hand over to Gyles.
Thank you, Terry. So, ciao. My name is Gyles. I'm one of the co-op wine buyers, and I'm responsible for the Italian range that we have in the co-op. And I love buying Italian wine. The wines are amazing. The people are fantastic. The food is incredible, but it's the passion, and you'll hear about the passion tonight of the producers. And you have two of my favorite producers today, Roberto and Michele and Claudio, and they'll talk about their wines. So I'm delighted that you've joined us tonight. We'll be having a fantastic time, lots of knowledge, lots of passion. And if you have any questions about the wines, please feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll come back to you. So I'm going to hand over to Roberto, who's going to talk about the amazing cooperative irresistible Gavi that we have. Roberto, over to you.
Thank you very much, Gyles, for this amazing introduction, and then to give me the opportunity to talk about my land, so about Gavi, which is the name of the wine, but also is the name of the village in Piedmont. I would like to talk about and give you some information about our history, and then last but not least, also about our wine. I'm Roberto Broglia. I'm the third generation involved in the winery, and I would like to start by showing you a short video where you can get an idea through the images of what our reality is like. So next, please.
Sorry, just checking. Can we hear that? The sound?
No sound, Terry.
Sorry, 2 seconds.
Yeah. Thank you, Terry. So this was a video. It's about a reality. So our estate, the houses, the family houses, and the house that are in the state. So as you can see, there are, as you have seen, there are vineyards, but we have a different lot of forest and biodiversity around. This picture is about the Gavi village. So as Gavi is the name of the wine, but of course the wine takes the name from the village as in the most important appellation from Piedmont. So this is the as you can see, the first thing you can see is the fortress on your right. Was the castle more than 1,000 years ago, and around 500 years ago, the Genoa, the people during the Genoa Republic become a fortress. But I will let you know about the story about this castle later. Then on the left you have the city of Gavi, the village, and you can see also the mountains, the Alps. Gavi, it is this village in Piedmont, so we are in northwest of Italy, and we are between Genoa and Milano. We are close to Alps and Appennino, so the mountains are the south of Piedmont, but really close to the seaside. So this microclimate allows us to have this particular and characteristic white wine from Piedmont. As I said before, Gavi is the name of the village of Gavi, but in Gavi appellation there are 11 villages. As for example, as Barolo, there are 11 villages. The most important town of the appellation is Gavi, so the wine takes the name from the most important village of the appellation. We are really small because the Gavi appellation spread on 1,600 hectares. I think Barolo is only 2,000, so we are smaller than Barolo in this corner of Piedmont. As the most important wine from Piedmont is made by indigenous native grape from the area. In our case, is Cortese. So Gavi is made in this corner, small corner of Piedmont, by 100% from Cortese grape. Cortese grape, we know we have not a lot of information about Cortese grape. We just know Cortese was brought there in this area by the ancient Romans, as the majority of variety grapes there are in Italy. In fact, during the ancient Romans called Italy Enotria, land of wine. And so we don't know the DNA of Cortese. We just know Cortese came here, and then the people used to have in their vineyards this kind of grape since more than 2,000 years ago. The first information we have about Cortese, we have to go back to the 17th century, when Gavi was in Genoa Republic. So we are around 400 years ago, when Italy was split in different small countries. We were in this in Genoa Republic, so because we are really close to Genoa, the city of Genoa, but we were on the border with Ducato di Milano. So this was a really strategical area. And in this time, in the 17th century, the aristocratic people from Genoa were huge merchants, and Genoa was the powerful city, in the Mediterranean Sea. So when they arrived, the Genoan people in this area, because it was strategic, because they do a lot of business with Ducato Milano. So in this area, they used to exchange goods and money, and they built amazing villas in this area, in this countryside, a beautiful building. And when they arrived, they found this Cortese. They didn't switch to red grape as another part of Piedmont, but they maintain this white grape Cortese because it was perfect for matching with their cuisine of seafood and white meat. So this is the reason, the cultural reason, the historical reason why we have this white grape in this area, and the reason why Gavi is recognized as the king of the white wine from Piedmont. So this is about historical information about the ancient Romans that to come to the Genoan people. That the Genoan people started to sell Gavi around the world since we have the first document dated beginning of 18th century, so more than 300 years ago. And in this document, there are some Gavi they shipped to Germany or South America. So these are the historical information. About the name of Cortese, there is a legend behind the name of Cortese, because is this legend about the Gavia princess, who was the daughter of the king of Frank kingdom. We are around the 450 after that, and this prince, the princess felt her kingdom. Because the father disapproved of her love for one man, so they moved from the French kingdom, from actually France, to Gavi, and they arrive in the castle. The castle was today is the fortress you can see in the picture. And when they arrive, the local people host them in Gavi in the castle. So the legend was the Pope married the princess Gavia with her lover, and the people from Gavi, because this princess was beautiful and kind, decide to give the name of Cortese, because the name in Italian kind is Cortese, and so decide to call their grape Cortese in honor of this princess. So this is the reason, the legend behind the story of the name of Cortese. And these are just a few information, historical and legendary information we have about our grape. And next, please, then, Terry. Thank you. Today, my family, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm the third generation involved in the winery. My family with my grandfather, Bruno, purchased La Meirane estate, which is today is the largest contiguous estate in Gavi region. La Meirane, it is a really important name linked with the history of Gavi, because the first document deals with Gavi is dated 3 June 972 after that, so more than 1,000 years ago. In this document, the Bishop of Genoa rented to two people from Gavi the land and the vineyards in Gavi at La Meirane estate. So for the first time in the history, when somebody speaks about Gavi, talks about the vineyards in Gavi at La Meirane estate. So this to underline how long is the tradition in the viticulture in our area. Then the case was my grandfather Bruno purchased the estate 1,000 years later. This document. So in 1972, and when he purchased the estate, there were just six hectares. You can go next, Terry. So the next three are about the La Meirane estate. So you have different point of view of the state in different seasons also. And so in 1972, he purchased the estate, and there were just 6 hectares of Cortese. Then the second generation of our family, so my father Piero and my uncle Paolo, they decided to do a renovation of the cellar. We are at the beginning of the 80s. And they decided to switch, to move from the concrete tank or a hook to have only stainless steel tanks in our cellar. And today is the same. We have only stainless steel tank in our cellar. This decision was made because we would like to have a Gavi as we know today. So a really fresh wine with minerality, with its flavor. And for us, we were one of the first family to do that, because in more than 40 years ago, the people in this area use a hook and a concrete tank. Then my father and my uncle developed the winery. So thanks also to the success of the Gavi on the domestic international market. And today we started with 6 hectares, and today we have 70 hectares of only Cortese grape, of vines, only of Cortese grape. This is something unique in Piedmont, to have 70 hectares with just one variety. Note that in Gavi, the average is less than 8 hectares, the average of the size of the state. And usually the people used to have a different kind. So in Piedmont, you have Cortese Gavi, you have Barbera, Nebbiolo, Moscato. You have different or Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, for example, for making bubbles. We are really focused on Cortese. So this is to underline our identity. We are really focused on this variety, on this which is the Gold of Gavi. So is the only grapes allowed to have in our appellation, and we focus since the last 52 years on this grape, because my grandfather purchased the estate in 1972. 2 years after, we bottled the first. We made the first bottle, and then my father and my uncle developed the winery. And today I work I'm here in the winery with my brother and my cousin as a 3rd generation. We are still really focused on Cortese on Gavi. And the other thing important to underline is that all our wines come from our own grape. So we don't buy grapes from other winery or other estate. And this is also to guarantee the quality of our product. We have a range of vines, so go from 5 years old to 71 years old. And all are really work with their attention, and from the beginning, from the vineyards, really to the bottle. As the French people, the French producers to say, propriétaire à levure. Next, please. And see, this is another view of La Mirana. Then the next again. So this is the family. So you can see also the faces behind the label. And in the middle is my father with a red tie, and on his left my uncle. As you can see, are twins, exactly the same. And when I was a kid, it was a problem to me to recognize one, my father from my uncle. Then on the left side, there is my brother Filippo. He's the youngest, 35 years old, and then my cousin Bruno is on my left. I'm the guy on the right. Next, please. This is the picture. This is the 3rd generation. So I was here with my cousin and my brother, with our beloved defender and our fantastic Fiocco, our English setter, in the La Mirana estate. And then the last but not least, we have the grape of Cortese. This I mentioned Gold of Gavi because, as you can easily recognize, is the color. This is during the harvest. We are really close to the harvest. We are going to start around the 20th of September. Is a good year. Is a good year, yeah, because we had wet spring in April, May, beginning of June, but good temperature and a great excursion between day and night during the summer. And then the next, you can see a picture of the harvest. This is one of the oldest vines I mentioned before. This was planted in 19 1953, and this is called Fasciola, this vineyard, and from these vineyards come from our selection. I read just a question. Can I reply you just at the end? Okay. Okay. So the next is the COP2 Irresistible Gavi. This is Gavi di Gavi, known. So you can see its denomination Gavi DOCG del Comune di Gavi. It means our estate, it is in Gavi village. At the beginning, as I said, there are 11 villages in Gavi appellation. The most important, which gives the name to the wine, is Gavi. If the state it is in Gavi village, become Gavi DOCG del Comune di Gavi, as you have on the back label of your COP Gavi. And but is known everywhere as Gavi di Gavi. So this, because this was the most historical, the oldest vine, the winery were born there. So this is the reason why there is this difference between Gavi and Gavi di Gavi. And so, but on the label you see is written Gavi DOCG del Comune di Gavi. We are, as you can see, we are 290, 300 meters above the sea level. So we are close to the mountains, as I said, and just over the mountains that is the sea. So there is Genoa. We have this marly limestone soil, so allow us to have this minerality, this freshness, also the fruit you can feel in the glass. And also we have, and it's important, thanks to the still tanks, we can underline this minerality and freshness of this wine. And then this is a classic Gavi as we like to drink. So it's a Gavi really you can match with important lobster or oyster or dish with claims or vongole pasta, for example. But it's really nice also to drink with aperitivo. So, and this is something it's I think Gavi is well known, is appreciated around the world also for this reason. So thank you very much for your time, and again for the opportunity you gave me to show you about my history and the history of my family and of my land, and also the wine. We used to work together since almost 12 years. So it has been a pleasure. Sorry.
Thank you, Roberto. So I've got a glass open at the moment. I trust others who are on the meeting have as well. I think you've got a glass as well, Roberto. So yeah, I mean, as you described it, I love that richness of in the nose. I love Gavi as a really good food wine. It's when someone asks me for a classic white wine to go with food, Gavi is one of my default suggestions. We do a number of dinners. One of the great things about being the wine buyer for one of the wine buyers is we're asked for food and wine matching, and this is one of my default wines to go, because it goes well with so many different styles of food, as well as being a great white wine to have as an aperitif and drink on its own. I love that minerality, that weight of citrus fruit that you got on it, and sits on the palate beautifully, and the length just carries on. Roberto, what do you think of the 2023 vintage that I think 2023 that we're currently got in the store?
Thank you very much for your words. First of all, And about 2023 was great as a year, because we had was balanced. So we had a cold winter, good rains during spring. We suffered a little bit of drop during in July last year. It was really hot in Italy. And the first week of August, I remember. Then we had fresh August with good rains, and then it's really important that the excursion we have between day and night. This is really important because for the maturation of the grape, and from the 15th of August, so around 1 month, 5 weeks before the harvest, is important to have this kind of excursion. So was at the end was great. That's important to I didn't say before, to underline, this wine is working in still tanks, temperature control for at least 6 months. So it's the minimum. Surely we work in this way. All our wine, particularly this wine, come from vineyards are 20-25 years old. So strong, good vines, beautiful vines, really healthy, and then we work in this way. So the freshness we can have is also thanks to the time surely and there's temperature control. And then we use this technique called batonnage, is a kind of we move the wine, so the yeast inside takes the structure from the natural yeast that are inside the tank. So I don't want to be too much technique, so sorry if I say too much. It's not organic. No, it's not organic. I read just the question is not organic. I read another question about the climate change. The climate change for our area was something help us to have more volume of alcohol, because, for example, 200 years ago, Cortese was colder, so and it was used for making the Blanc de Blanc from Piedmont. So it is really good also now for making bubbles. And today, with this climate change in the last 15 years, we have a little bit more sugar in the grape, also volume of alcohol in the. But in terms of quality, acidity, the good things was the acidity was still really high. And the acidity is something really good for the wine. Also, for when you make a decision when you are to pick the wine, start the harvest, the first, the two elements, the most important element is the acidity and the sugar inside the grape. So this help us to decide when to start the harvest.
Thank you, Roberto. I think there are a couple of other questions as well in there, but I know we've got to get on to Michele soon. I think one of the questions was about the date, which is above the barcode on the back. I believe that's the lot code, or rather that's the date of bottling the wine. Yeah. Would you confirm that? Thank you, Roberto.
Yes. Lot number is when we bottle the wine. For example, I've got here is the first you cannot see, but is the 1st of August.
Fantastic. And briefly, you obviously have a number of workers who've worked with you constantly. How do you support them with the work? Do you train them? How do you support them on education?
Yeah, we have a lot. We do a lot of. Sorry, about employee. You ask. I didn't get you.
The workers you have that work with you in your vineyard and winery.
Yeah. Yes, we have. We do different. It depends on the department. So for the vineyards, for example, we do every year about the pruning, this new system, Simon and Search. This is for pruning the plant in the same way because it's really important. It's a really important time of the season for a winemaker. Then we have also all the employees. Then it's important to remember we have the BRC. So we had the score of A+. Last year we had the unexpected audit last November. We get a plus, so is an audit to check the winery follow the rules. So about the workers, the healthy, and everything happen in the winery. So we do a lot, and what we like to do also, everyone is know the wine, so are able to tell about the wine, and then is able to also to propose and drink with friends at home or with the family. So this is the way we work.
Excellent, Roberto. Right, there are a few more questions, and no doubt we'll back to those, but I know that Michele and Claudio are waiting to talk about their fantastic wine, the Salice Salentino, and so this is going to go onto an amazing red wine. So Michele, over to yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Michele. I'm the export area manager for Argea, and tonight I am with Claudio Galosi, who is the winemaker. So I'm the one bringing the message and the wines and presenting the wines to different countries. I look after the UK market, and today we're presenting the Salice Salentino Riserva 2020 vintage. Can we move to the next slide, please? So the group I represent is Argea. Argea is a new wine group, privately owned by the Botter family and some Italian investors, and it was brought together. It is made by 3 wineries: Botter, Mondo del Vino, and Zaccagnini, a producer in Abruzzo. Today we are the first privately owned wine group in Italy, and the goal of this wine group is to present to the world the best wines from the best regions of Italy. We do not cover all the regions of Italy, but we focus on 5 main regions, which are Piemonte, Veneto, Abruzzo, Sicily, and Puglia. And the wine that we are presenting today comes from Puglia, the heel of the boot of Italy. The Botter family, who is who are the owners of Botter and the Argea group, the winery is now run by the 4th generation. It was founded in 1928. Mondo del Vino was founded in the 1990s by the Martini family, and Zaccagnini, the founder, the Ciccio Zaccagnini, was the founder of Cantina Zaccagnini, started the winery in the early 1930s. Can we move to the next slide, please? So this is to give you an overall view of the regions that and the locations where Argea is today. Monte del Vino is located in the northwest of Italy. Thank you. So Monte del Vino is located in the northwest of Italy. Botter is located in the northeast of Italy in Veneto. Monte del Vino has also a winery in Emilia-Romagna. Botter and Monte del Vino has facilities in Puglia and in Sicily. We have in each region we own our own vineyards, but we also work with local growers, and we help local growers to with our knowledge to bring their wines to the world. We have a pool of 15 winemakers. They travel around Italy and in each regions, and they work closely with each winery and each growers to help them follow our indications on how to best. Can you hear me? Okay. On how to best grow their grapes to, thank you, to how to best grow their grapes and produce and produce the wines we then sell. This is we have relationships that has been going on for decades, and the relationships with the growers are very strong and long lasting. Claudio and together with his staff, they create the indications, and they help the growers to follow them in order to make the wines that we bring to the market. Can we go to the next slide? So the wine that we are presenting today comes from Puglia. Puglia has always been a region. Back in the days, it was an underdog region, but in the last 10 years, the Puglia region has come to has gained in popularity. One of the most known wines from Puglia is Primitivo, but there are a lot of other wines and a lot of other grapes in the region, many grapes. In Puglia, we have 5 DOCG, 6 IGP, and 27 DOPs. There are a lot of questions coming in. Should I address the questions now or later?
We'll come on to the questions shortly, Michele.
Okay, good. The wine that we have tonight is Salice Salentino, and the Salice Salentino Riserva is made with Negro Amaro grape. I would like to talk to you about the region that you see circled on the map is the Salento Peninsula, and the Salento Peninsula is between the Ionic Sea and the Adriatic Sea. So it's all the area that you see is surrounded by water. There are no high mountains, and the climate is Mediterranean. So the grapes that are planted there, the vines that are planted there, receive an incredible amount of sun during the growing season, but they have the cool breezes coming from the sea. So there is a wide temperature excursion between the day and the night. As I was saying, the wine is made with Negro Amaro grape, and Negro Amaro is made by 2 Italian words: Negro, which means black, and Amaro, which means bitter. And you can definitely tell from the glass, from the wine that you have in the glass. If you have the wine into the glass, you should. That the color is very deep black, and the color of this wine comes from the very dark skin of the grapes. Let me go quickly back to the yeah, okay, cool. Let go further. Next slide, please, and next one. And this is a picture of the Negramaro grapes, and you can definitely tell how dark the color is from the grapes. The vines are at least 25 years old, but most of the times are even older. They can be as old as 50 years old. And the older the vines, the less the yield per vine, but the higher the quality of the fruit. Next slide, please. This is a picture of these are a couple of pictures of the time of the harvest. The Negramaro grapes are harvested starting from the end of September. I heard a question about how global warming is affecting harvesting times, and it is definitely affecting harvesting times. And unfortunately, growers need to be extremely careful in when they harvest the grapes, because the hot summers that we have had lately, they enhance the ripening of the fruit. So especially this year, we have an early start of the harvest. So when you read about the harvesting time of a wine and of a grape, it can vary, and the global warming is also affecting the alcohol levels in the wine. Next slide, please. So I was saying that the climate in Puglia is a Mediterranean climate, and the region is surrounded by water on 3 sides, and this allows cool breezes coming in and drying, and it helps dry the grapes, keeping the grapes very, very healthy. It is a very dry climate, but the breezes can keep they cool down the temperatures during the night. The soils are deep across the regions and are diverse, and this is extremely good for having very high quality grapes. We have made the Irresistible Salice Salentino Reserva blend together with Gyles and together with Coop, and this we work very closely with Coop in order to find the right wine and the right balance. It is we work very hard also to do the blend and to select the barrels that then were blended to have the final wine. I would like now to introduce you to Claudio, who's actually the one that did the work behind the scenes, behind the wine.
Hello, my name is Claudio Galosi. I am the winemaker for Botter and Zaccagnini, and I'm very happy to stay together with you this evening. And for the Salice Salentino, there are a lot of job under this battle, because for obtaining this wine, work a lot with our supplier, with our in our vineyard, and is the interesting grapes, the Negramaro, but it's very difficult for obtaining the quality, because the Apulia is a Mediterranean climate, but the weather is very warm, in particular in the summer. But our company identified the area where are the vineyard is possible irrigated, and this is very important for preserved and for improve the quality in the future wine. And this wine is the Riserva, but for give this name, there are the particularity process underground, and this is the aging. For obtaining the Riserva, there are the alcohol minimum is 13.5%, and there are 2 years the aging, but in these 2 years, 6 months minimum the aging in the wood. For our blend, using our company using different wood, using the big barrel and using the wood from Slavonia, and is the big barrel. The capacity is maybe 6,000 liter, and using the barrique, the wood is the French wood. The capacity is 225 liter, and normally stay minimum 6 months, but this is not the law, depending to the wine, because there are the wine and is okay after 6 months inside to the wood. There are another aging is necessarily stay in the wood much time, because have the quantity of the tannin is very much important. And for the vintage 2020, I'm very happy because I preserved the freshness inside to the wine and the fruity, but there are the note of chocolate, vanilla, and a little bit tobacco. And is the wine very drinkable, and is the wine have the good structure, but is not heavy. And if you have the question, I'm Michele here, and
yes, I am here. Can I add few? Can we go to the next slide, please? I would like to say that all the Negramaro grapes that are used to make Salice Salentino are hand harvested. So we need to carefully select each bunch of grape by hand, and the yields per hectare are 7,500 kilograms, which is about half of an usual regular red wine from the same a regular IGP wine from the same era, let's say like a Negramaro IGP, a regular Negramaro IGP, or a Primitivo. So in order to have the quality grapes that are needed for Salice Salentino, you have to have low yield per hectare. And as Claudio was saying, this Riserva wine needs to be aged for at least 24 months, of which 6 in oak. But then it depends from the single vineyard that is harvested, because some of the vineyards, some of the grapes that come from a specific vineyard, they can then develop and age in a different way. So what Claudio needs to do is to taste all the barrels, select each one of them, and choose the ones that will go into the final blend.
yes, it's true. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Another slide to Michele.
I think so. The pictures that you see here are from the barrel room of where Salice Salentino is stored. Claudio, your job is far more interesting than mine. So Claudio can tell that I've seen him doing it. He has a note. He takes notes of each single barrel that is, and he tastes each single barrel. So it's his job is a very interesting job, and for you people to enjoy the wine, then this is a chance for us to tell you how it is made. Next slide, please. Oh.
Well,
Is this about the competition?
Before we get into that, I think there's a let's do a few things. Michele, Claudio,
Absolutely.
Grazie mille for this. I love this wine. This we're so proud to have this in our range. It's that classic style of Italian red, especially from down south, as you say, in Puglia. It's got so much fruit, lots of red berries. It's complex, but it's really it's approachable with that fruit. It's the softness on the palate, and the flavors just carry on. And I love everything. What I love about this wine is it's such a food friendly wine. And this, I mean, it's something I mentioned with all Italian wines, because the history that both you and Roberto have gone on about have created these styles of wines which match up with the local food dishes, with the Italian food dishes. So it's a wine that I can drink on its own, but when I am thinking of, right, what's a fantastic red to go with some of the Italian pastas and sauces, especially on a meat dish, then this is an amazing wine to go with it. The acidity within there keeps this wine fresh, despite including that richness of flavor. So thank you very much for Claudio for making this wine for us. It's definitely one of our star reds on the range.
Thanks.
Can I answer one quick question, that if this wine is good for aging? Yes, it is good for aging. It's ready to drink now, but you can cellar it for another 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, maybe it's okay.
Maybe more.
Depending where who is the method to the storage, the bottle, because
Yes,
the temperature is high,
probably
is not perfect for aging.
it needs to be kept away from light and in a dry and cool place, of course.
That's brilliant. So I'm going to hand back to Terry to just go through the competition and more Q&A. I just want to say to both Roberto, Michele, Claudio, thank you for your time. Ideally, the passion of what you produce has come through in the time we've had together. Fantastic for everybody who's joined in. Ideally, you've tried some of the wines, or you want to try these two wines. I love these two. They are just classic examples of what Italy can do, from the north, from Piemonte, to the south in Puglia. And there's such a gamut of variety and diversity of styles of wines in between. It's an amazing country, the wine country, an amazing food country. But best of all, the Italian people are fantastic.
Thanks.
Cheers. Thank you, Gyles.
Grazie.
Thank you, everyone. So I'll just, while this is up now for the competition, so we've just been doing the draw in the background, so we do have a winner. So the person who's won a bottle of each and the Italian feast that will be coming, which we'll send more details about, is Kim Henderson in the chat. So Kim, Claire is going to drop you an email address in this chat now. So if you could drop us an email and we can pick up later about getting that to you. If you could also just message something in the chat so we know that you've heard that it's you that's won, that'd be great too. So that's Kim Henderson. Brilliant. So I'm going to stop sharing the slides now and bring everybody back. There we go. There you all. I've missed you all. Cool. So I am conscious that we are running up to 8 o'clock. So we'll try and get through as many questions as we can. We probably will run a bit over, but understandably, if you do need to drop off at 8 o'clock, that's absolutely fine. So I have some questions here. So I'll try and kind of do a mix of who they're from, or who they're for even, sorry. So we have a question here from Damien G. And this one is for Roberto. It says the pictures seem to show the vineyard sloping in opposite directions. Does this create a problem with different ripenings? Oh, you're on mute, Roberto.
Okay, now you can hear me.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Thank you. No, it's something happens. So everywhere we have the you have different in different way. Is something you cannot have the same way because it's the hill. So is to go to pass through the vineyards. You used to have in different way the vines. So is normal.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What else have we got? So we've got another one here for you, Roberto, from Laurie, who asks, "What would you say it has come? Sorry, would you say it has some of the same notes as the Bianco Friulano, formerly called Tokai?" I don't know if you want to find that in the chat. I'm probably butchering that a bit. The line, yeah.
No, I understand. Not clear. No, is different. Is different. So is an amazing wine. Also different Colifrulano, Tokai, and all Frulano, known as a Frulano. But we are in the so is different terroir, different position. So is they are on northeast of Italy, really close to the on the Adriatic Sea. So with the mountains behind, so close also to Slovenia. But the soil here in Gavi and the really particular position close to the mountains, close to the sea, two mountains, so the Alps. Then we have Pianura Padana, then Appennino, so our smaller mountains, Appennino, and then just the sea. That bring the salt called we used to call marino. The wind comes from the sea, so marino is a wind from the sea. Give to Gavi its characteristic and Frulano other characteristic, but it's good Frulano too. I love it.
Amazing, thank you, Roberto. So Michele and Claudio, there's one here for you. So we talked a bit about the Salice Salentino and the Reserva, but what's the main difference between the wine and the Reserva? And that one is from Richard.
So I can go if you want. So to be a Reserva, the wines needs to be aged for at least for 24 months, starting from the 1st of November of the year of the harvest. So if you don't have that time of aging, of which 6 months needs to be in wood barrels, you cannot call it a Reserva. That's the main difference, because there is Salice Salentino without mentioning Reserva, but that Salice Salentino is usually a wine, can be rosé, can be white, can be red, but usually it's a vintage wine. So it's a fresher example of a wine without the we call them tertiary notes that are developed through aging. So that chocolate mocha forest floor that you have in the nose, the wine develops flavors and aromas that you do not find in a regular Salice Salentino.
Cheers, thank you, Michele. Gyles, one for you. I'd say it's a quick one, but it might not be that quick. How do co-op buyers like you source these wines? So, like, how did you kind of get to work with these incredible winemakers?
I saw this question. Should we do a separate webinar on how we buy and stock and range? Because it's, yeah, that's a big. It's a great question. It's a great question.
Don't reveal the secrets.
There are many facets to this, but it's a blend of not just my knowledge, but it's also a blend of all the suppliers that we work with. It's a blend of us understanding our members, what wines do you want to see ranged in store, and understanding what we believe is and sourcing amazing wines that really stand for quality and value that can go into Co-op Irresistible. And fingers crossed, they're of the quality that they will be recognised and win awards, silver medals, gold medals, or be written about by press journalists as well. But really, it's down to you, our members, on believing that these wines are fantastic, buying these wines and recommending it to your friends, because we are, as you've heard today, two passionate producers. What we have on our range, I don't think can be beaten by anybody else. So again, I go back to say thank you, Roberto, Michele, and Claudio, because these wines are amazing and they're great value, and hopefully the sales with our members, you as members, agree with that.
Thank you very much, Gyles. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Gyles.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
I can still see a steady sea of questions coming through. So I'm wondering now, if people want to raise their hand to ask their question in person, I can then bring you off mute and you can ask your question yourself. Does anybody want to ask a question that way? If so, just pop your hand up and it should just do something like that. There we go. We've got Brian and Kath. So Brian and Kath, you should now be able to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. The question was, we've enjoyed both the Salice Salentino and the Negramaro, and you said the Veneto Negramaro, and you've said that the Salice Salentino uses the Negramaro grape. What's the difference between the two, apart from one being slightly stronger than the other? He's laughing.
I'm laughing because that's a great question. How to answer that one diplomatically, he says. Right. So the Veneto Negramaro first appeared on our range and has done really, really well. We wanted to also replicate a similar style, but slightly different with a Reserva, because seeing the Veneto Negramaro work, we believe that there was a quality step up that we could find and put into the Co-op Irresistible label, and that's what we've done. Both are working really well side by side. They're slightly different, and I say we're really proud of what we have in Co-op Irresistible. But all I'm going to say is that is great observation, because I've been looking at the range going, yeah, we've got these two great wines, but I think they do a different job. But that's great observation from you. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you. So if anybody else wants to ask maybe one last question, if you want to raise your hand, we can do that. If not, we'll probably start to wrap up. So just for that then. So just a quick shout out that we try and do these events at least once a month. So our next one is on the 26th of September, and it'll be again 7 to 8 o'clock. It's a Thursday, and we'll be covering 3 Argentinian fair trade wines, as we're going to be celebrating Fair Trade Fortnight and 30 years of responsible retailing here at Co-op. So that link should be in the chat. I'll see if we can drop it in again for you too, but please book onto that, and we'd love to see you there. We do also have a chocolate event coming up as well. It'll be our first event like this that's not wine. So again, with Fair Trade Fortnight, it will be some of our Co-op Irresistible chocolate, and talking a bit about how the Fair Trade projects, what happens with the Fair Trade projects off the back of the sales of those chocolates. So those will both be in the chat if they're not there already. So yeah, we'd love to see you at some future events too. Like I said, the event has been recorded, so we will hopefully be able to get an email out to you next week with the recording if you did want to watch anything back as well. And yeah, thank you for continue to join in with these events, and learn more about our products and just spend an hour of your evening with us. So yeah, thank you very much. I'll see if anybody else wants to say anything before we close the call. So Gyles, I'll probably come to you first.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Terry, and everybody else behind the scenes who's put this together. But once again, thank you to every member who's joined in to listen to two amazing producers. Again, can't be proud enough to have these two wines on our range. So it has to be hats off and cheers to Michele and Claudio and to Roberto. Thank you.
Saluti a Roberto.
Saluti.
Saluti,
Salute.
Roberto.
Salute.